So I've always been this person ki mere ko limelight chahiye, I want this limelight, or maybe I just want people to know me. I have been this person right from my birth itself.
What is the life of a successful CA candidate looks like? Yeah, not everyone clears all these exams, right? So now that you have cleared it, what does the life look like? What happens next?
People call me Bhaiya, that's a ridiculous thing. I just hate it when people call me Bhaiya, but I mean, I can't help it. But they are like, ki, Bhaiya, you should add CA before your name.
Have you ever wondered what is it like to crack CA exam? Or have you ever wondered what would a life of a failed CA aspirant may look like, especially in terms of pivoting into management consulting or investment banking? Then hi, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm collaborating with Kushal Lodha, who has been CA AIR rank number 5, and I'm starting a new series called the Shatakshi Show, where I'm inviting leading entrepreneurs and content creators in this country so that you all get to know about 3 things that we discuss on this channel: MBA, management consulting, and career advice, especially in your early years. So feel free to hit on the subscribe and the notification button so that you are notified whenever we are putting out videos for all of your learning.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Kushal, very excited honestly to have you on my channel. And if I have the luxury of introducing you to my YouTube community, then you are CA rank 5, correct me if I'm wrong. You have worked in investment division of Aditya Birla. You have also worked as an EA to the chief economist there. So you have a lot of laurels that we can celebrate. You have a lot of hats that you are wearing. And of course, congratulations for becoming the LinkedIn top voice. Very well deserved. Over to
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Really excited to have you on the channel today.
Thank you so much, Atakshi. It means a lot. I mean, I've been following your journey on LinkedIn, and that gives me a lot of inspiration, to be honest. When we have like mentors like you on LinkedIn platform, on all social media, we also get to learn a lot of things. So it's an absolute sense of honor for me to be on your channel. And if there's any sort of help or guidance which I can do, happy to contribute in any manner whatsoever.
Sure. Thank you so much, Yan. Which brings me towards certain set of questions that I have, and I'm sure that we will want to also have organic discussions, one question leading to another. So my first question is, Kushal, I'll be very candid. I have never prepared for chartered accountant role, but from what I understand is that a lot of youngsters leave their college or don't attend college and confine themselves in their room or in their home and prepare remotely. And that is how they are able to crack the entire CA exam. First and foremost, correct me if that understanding is right or wrong, but at least that's what I've heard from my friends. Do you think that's the right strategy?
So that's a brilliant question to start off with. I mean, my opinion there is that like a lot of people actually to clear the CA examination, it involves a lot of rigor, a lot of discipline, a lot of consistency and focus. So in order to study for those leave period of let's say CA finals leave or CA intermediate leave or CA CPD foundation leave period, you need to be on your toes constantly. You need to just focus and study on academics part. You can't afford to let's say go out, or maybe you can't afford to just distract yourself in that period of time. So to answer your question very precisely, during the period of let's say 4.5 months of CA final study leave or 3 months of intermediate study leave, everyone needs to confine to their house and everyone needs to just remotely study because of the fact that they want to avoid all sort of distraction, which was the case with me as well. If you ask me, I had switched off my mobile phone for 4.5 long months of my CA finals leave period. I had kept it in my dad's wardrobe to avoid any sort of distraction. And that was like a period which was the most peaceful element of my life. I'm not even kidding. It's like I was not in touch with any of my friends. I was not in touch with any of the person except two of my friends who used to solve my doubts during the CA finals leave period. And that's what really helped me in order to get all these ranks: All India rank 6 in the entrance, All India rank 5 in inter, and All India rank 5 in the CA finals as well. So basically, this was my strategy, confining to the house just for studying for the CA final leave period. But having said this, I am not even saying that you should just not step out of your house. Of course, the role of extracurricular activities and role of stepping out is very important, especially in the practical world, where you really want to test whether you're born for the practical world or not. And that comes only by, let's say, organizing some sort of events, participating in a lot of competitions, helping any other person in any sort of activity which they are doing. And this is also very crucial. So during the first 2 years of my articleship, the journey happens like the journey is we have to give the entrance exam. Then we have 9 months preparation period for our intermediate exam. And then after 9 months of preparation period of intermediate exam, we have 3 years of articleship, which is where we work under any chartered accountant for 3 years. And then we give our CA finals examination. So during this 3 years of period, I have literally had the most exposure to extracurricular activities. And by that, what I mean is that I used to participate in a lot of events. I used to host a lot of events. I love anchoring. I love to be on the stage. So I've always been this person ki mere ko limelight chi, I want this limelight, or maybe I just want people to know me. I have been this person right from my birth itself. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I really like to be on the stage. I really like to just, entertain people, talk to the crowd, and just, engage with the audience. So again, to answer your question, there are two ways. One is that during your preparatory leave period, you need to confine yourself to the roots, which is you need to stay to your home, and you need to just, concentrate on your academics part. But on the other hand, it's not that you just need to be in your house for the rest of your life or for the entire life. This is just a 4 month period. Once you are done with your examinations, you need to ensure that you have an exposure of almost everything in your life.
Fantastic answer, Kushal. I'm completely in alignment, and I also reminisce my GMAT journey when for the first time I attempted the exam. I stopped talking to my friends, and then I realized that I also wanted that healthy balance of having a personal life and then cracking the exam. From what
Right.
I'm hearing from you, at least to me, Kushal, and I'm very sure it is true as well, you sound like a very self-aware person, which is actually very important that, hey, I am someone who likes limelight, or I am someone who craves to become a better communicator. And congratulations for your fantastic YouTube journey as well. Let's talk about mental well-being. In a world where everyone is having crab mentality, unfortunately so, is trying to become someone else, a version of someone else. What are certain hacks that you have used? Especially, you are really young to be what you're doing, and I'm sure there are many other things that you will go on to achieve. What are certain hacks you use because of which you have become A, self-aware, and B, more grounded to know that, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is my personal goal, and it has nothing to do with what XYZ person on internet is achieving. So
Right.
over to you.
That's again like an amazing question. That's a very deep question, to be honest. I have in fact thought a lot about this at a lot of times. Like during multiple instances, I have given this a thought that I need to stop comparing myself with any sort of peer, any sort of person. Even if he or she is doing much better in their lives, I should seek inspiration instead of getting jealous. My philosophy has been extremely simple. There are thousands and thousands of individuals who are better than me. There are thousands and thousands of individuals whom I am better off with them as compared to them. So I always look upon to those people who are better than me, and I try to seek inspiration from them. For example, if I had started my YouTube channel, if I just started my own podcast of conversation with Kushal, where I interview industry stalwarts like Suresh Prabhu sir, who's the former Railway Minister of India, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, who's the real estate billionaire, Mr. Nirmal Jain, who's the chairman of India Infoline Finance Limited, one of the multinational conglomerates of India. So all these people, after talking to all of them, what I've realized is that they are extremely grounded. And that's what has really helped me in order to understand, even if, let's say, I achieve something in my life in the future, I have to ensure that my feet remains on the ground, which is extremely important. And I was just talking to Sri T.N. Manoharan. So he is the person who was awarded the Padma Shri by the government of India in 2010, because he was the one who handled the Satyam scandal, which happened in 2008. So Satyam scandal was a very famous scandal, if you would be aware. So that company was taken over by Tech Mahindra, and Sri T.N. Manoharan was the one who was on the board of directors of Satyam, who ensured that the exit happens very smoothly. And I was just talking to him for 45 minutes. That like in that video, I asked him like, how do you stay grounded and humble? And that time he was saying that, of course, it's very important to stay humble for any people or for any person, because humility is the weapon where you can just use that to kill other person's ego. And this was like one of the brilliant statements which is really inculcated in my mind. So firstly, it's like you need to start just setting benchmarks instead of setting jealousies or comparison. Second is that you need to stay away from all the sort of distractions whichever are there in your life. You need to just stay focused, and you need to ensure that you have this goal which you want to achieve. And the third principle which has really helped me in order to stay self-aware is that I can't just waste my time at all. Even like if you see, have a look at my calendar, which I can share it with anyone. every minute of mine is calendarized. By that, what I mean is that if I have to go to gym from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., which I have in my calendar right now, I'll just go to the gym from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. I have mentioned that in my calendar. If I'm, let's say, doing lunch, I have mentioned that in my calendar 1:30 to 2 p.m. is my lunch time. Everything is calendarized, and that is the discipline which I follow, which really helps me in order to stay self-aware. So even if I'm, let's say, having a meeting, I know which meeting is at what time, what I have to do at 5 p.m., what I have to do at 3 p.m. That really helps me in order to just stay self-aware. So that's one of the most important things, and this has come through time itself. It's not that you will be able to do this just from tomorrow. You need to maintain this habit for a period of, let's say, 7 days or 14 days or even a month sometimes in order to get to this habit. And once you have a proper calendar of your routine, then it'll be very easier for you to stay self-disciplined.
Brilliant response, Kushal. I agree with a lot of points, for example, around calendarization. I'm also if I were to use this word candidly, I'm a slave of Google Calendar. I don't think I can ever survive without Google Calendar myself.
Right.
And I really like the point, and I want to raise it, the power of working with leaders, not managers, really leaders, especially in your early 20s. I also remember I was 24 and I was back then working with the former chairman of McKinsey and Company. And the kind of humility he had was just so unparalleled. And this also keeps bringing a lot of thoughts in my mind that, hey, people who have achieved extraordinary achievements, right? If they know how to be humble, then never ever in our life we can afford to have a chip on our shoulder. Which brings me towards another question. What is the life of a successful CA candidate looks like? Yeah, not everyone clears all these exams, right? So now that you have cleared it, what does the life look like? What happens next?
So life after clearing CA for me, if you ask me, it really changed a lot. For example, like I started working at Aditya Birla Group when I was just 21. I worked there. I was an executive assistant to the chief economist of Aditya Birla Group, Dr. Ajit Ranade, which was a very big thing for me at the age of 21 itself. And working with that person, he's like he's a very very smart person, and he's like one of the most renowned economists of India as well. So getting to work closely with him was like a boon for me, and I got to learn a lot of things. And even apart from that, then I moved to Aditya Birla Ventures, which is a venture capital fund where we used to invest in startups, and I was looking at the fintech and edtech part. There also, I got an amazing exposure to talk to a lot of startup founders who are building something. And that's when I realized, okay, even I need to build something of my own. So I quit my job a few days back, and I also starting something of my own. What I feel is that, especially after clearing the CA exam, there are a lot of opportunities which are open to people. So, firstly, it's like they can go for a job in a multinational company. They can go for a job in like the top consulting firm like a McKinsey, BCG, or a Bain. They can get into companies like, let's say, Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Marico, or any sort of FMCG brands or any sort of multinational conglomerates as well. That's like one of the most important doors which is opened after you are clearing your CA exams, because again, like if you get a rank in your CAs, again there are like multiple opportunities.
I completely agree. And this is such a honest rendition, Kushal. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I completely agree. I believe that the entire narrative of clearing exams is just set so high. There is such a good story that, hey, if you clear JE, your life is set. If you clear GMAT, your life is set. But the life after that, actually, it becomes a life worthy of a, if hustle is the right word, or worthy for putting up a fight. I remember when all of us were keeping really busy on our ISB campus, and when we got into BCG, and I remember a BCG partner would tell me, hey, ISB was actually a cakewalk for you. Come join BCG, you would realize how hard it is going to be over and above your ISB journey. So I'm completely aligned, which brings me towards a little more unconventional topic, Kushal. The fact that top 1% of the people in India are able to clear GMAT and go to ISBs and IIMs of the world. Similarly, you are top 1% of this country when it comes to chartered accountant, right? And you joined Aditya Birla, really prestigious role in investment and EA to economist. Do you think there are alternative paths to getting the same job that you were able to get? What are the other potential opportunities to work in investment or to work as an EA to economist, if not necessarily in Aditya Birla, then parallel other opportunities? So what are your views?
So I think even if, let's say, I wouldn't have cleared my CA examinations, but if I would have done something else, some other courses, etc., it would have been like same. It would have, the level of difficulty would have remained the same in terms of getting a job. what I feel is that if, let's say, even if like you're not a CA, or let's say you want some different part to get jobs into these companies, now these companies are looking for candidates with some skill sets firstly, and secondly some sort of extracurricular activities or some sort of experience or some sort of examples which you've set, which proves that okay, you are a leader and you're not a person, you're not an employee. So basically they don't want to hire employees. When I say this, I mean this completely. They want to hire leaders for their organization. And this is what I was told in my interview, that we don't want to hire employees who, let's say, just come and leave in the next 5 years, 10 years. We want to hire leaders for our organization who will stay with us and who will become the CXOs of Aditya Birla Group companies. And that was very motivating for me as well. So basically what I feel is that some other opportunities which people can go into these companies or these jobs is that firstly, if there's any sort of like undergraduation college, like some renowned college, you graduate from some renowned college from Delhi University or Mumbai University as well, it's easier to apply to these companies, because these companies also take applications from all these universities as well. Secondly, if let's say you don't have a CA commerce background, and if let's say you want to get into these companies, there are a lot of courses which you can do. And not courses, by courses I don't mean that courses like an MBA or courses like a full-time actuaries or a IIT or some courses of that sort. Even let's say a course on coursera.com where you are just trying to develop your financial modeling skills, or let's say a course on Udemy which talks about financial modeling and how you can just develop the art of financial modeling quickly in an Excel sheet. All these courses are valued a lot. Trust me when I say this. Like one of my friends, he was giving an interview in JP Morgan, and he had mentioned in his resume that he has done a course on financial modeling from udemy.com. And he was asked questions on that part itself for 10-15 minutes. And he was asked, how was the course? What did you learn in the course? Okay, then he was grilled a lot, of course, like what is the approach, the like discounted cash flows, how do you calculate NPV, IRR, what is the discount rate to be used, etc. But he was able to answer all the questions, and he ended up getting a job in JP Morgan as well. So all these renowned investment banks like a JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, etc., or even like let's say consulting firms, any other company, they're looking for more extracurricular activities, more exposure, and they're looking for more of these like side hustles, or maybe like these extra things which you're doing. So even if you're doing some sort of these courses, I think it's very easier for you to get jobs in these companies. So basically, you need to have experience firstly. Secondly, interest in the area of subject wherever you want to apply. And thirdly, you need to prove that, okay, you are better than other candidates. And the best way of proving this is that your CV should stand out and you should have done something in the field which other candidates should not have done. So this is extremely crucial. So other options of getting into jobs in these companies are just all these methods like doing some courses, or just having that sort of interest. And best part about these companies is that even if you send them a cold email, or even if you reach out to the HR through LinkedIn, and if they find your profile to be right fit, then they'll give you an interview call. It's just that how much hunger you have to do something. And if you're very keen on, let's say, getting into a company or doing some job, it's as good as like you'll just try your best to reach out to the person and just try to ensure at least the CV is gone to the main person, and you are getting a chance of interviewing in that company as well. So see, even if you're not a CA, not an IIT, not an MBA, etc., even if you have like some sort of experience, some sort of qualifications or courses like these extracurricular activities and all, I think it's like very easier for you to get jobs into these companies as well.
I really like this answer, Kushal, because you were also able to back them up with an example. And I'm so glad that your friends were able to get jobs without having that professional degree. And I'm completely in alignment. For finance roles, building models, Excel will come in really very handy. And this is basically based upon the chat that we were having offline before our chat happened, that you were telling me that, hey, Shatakshi, the entire supply demand of CAs is just completely skewed. There are more CAs than the number of seats available. That means that with the population of 1.2 billion, we have to look at alternative options. Which brings me towards another chat around MBA. And I'm kind of falling back upon the offline chat we were having about your MBA options, right?
Yeah.
In a complete candid format, in the stage of life you are in, what are your views of doing an MBA for yourself and generally as well? So you must be what, 24 if I'm not wrong, 23 or 24?
I'm 23, yeah.
Fantastic. So someone who is 23 doing really good quality of work that you were doing before, and I'm sure there is a lot more success that will come to you when you become the entrepreneur. I'm very sure of that, no two doubts about it. What are your views on MBA?
Yeah. So I have a little different opinion of doing an MBA here. So of course, I'll back by some sort of evidence, and this is my personal opinion because this is a scenario, or maybe this is a case which is different for every individual based on their story, based on their future plans. So for me, I'll tell you, I have made a video on my YouTube channel. Is MBA doing worth it? Like if you do an MBA, whether it is worth it or not. And in that video, this was a video which I had uploaded 1 year back, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 1.5 years back. And I have mentioned there that okay, MBA is very good. You get to network, you can like develop your personality, you get to meet a lot of smart folks. Those 2 years would be like one of the best phases of your lives and all. I have like mentioned everything positive about MBA in that video itself. But I'll tell you, like I have realized this recently. And the reason why I realized this recently because of the surge in the social media presence, firstly, and surge in the digital penetration which is happening in the Indian economy and across the globe as well. The major benefits of doing an MBA, number one is networking. You meet a lot of smart folks, and the bond which you can develop with them, which it just remain with you forever. Because for let's say for example, I was staying in a CA hostel where there were 500 odd students, and I've stayed there for 3 years. The bond which I share with them, it's like very different from the bond which I share with a person who is just like I've met him for one time, etc. So number one is networking. You get to meet a lot of new folks, new smart folks, and if you're getting into one of the best Ivy Leagues or let's say best universities, then I think that's a very good option for you, and like it'll give you a very good exit. Second, the benefit is that your personality develops a lot. So for example, if you let's say want to get into entrepreneurship, or maybe if you even want to get into private equity or investment banking, the case studies which are given in an MBA college, that is extremely different from a case study given to you in let's say a theoretical examination. And you need to present it's as if like you're a person who's given a real life problem and you need to solve that. That is the second advantage. And the third advantage is that you get a very good exposure as well. So if let's say I talk about international MBA, doing an MBA from outside India, from let's say Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Columbia, Kellogg, any of the Ivy League, so you get an international exposure at a very young age, which really helps you in order to broaden your horizon and just expand your mindset. So it's like if you're staying in India itself, you don't get to know, okay, how are other countries thinking? How are the people in those countries thinking about problems? How are they getting innovative ideas, etc. So these are the three benefits of doing an MBA. And if you ask me, for a person who wants to get into, let's say, entrepreneurship, or if he wants to get into private equity investment banking, one of the most renowned jobs as well, MBA is really worth it for them because they know that, okay, after doing an MBA, the value of an MBA would be much more as compared to a person who has not done an MBA. Now, coming to the main question, which is my view. So my view on an MBA, it's like a little different, and it might be little different from all other individuals, but this is applicable to me. The benefit of networking, what I feel is that because of the LinkedIn presence, or maybe like because of getting these awards of LinkedIn top voice, or let's say even like having the huge subscriber base, or maybe even not that, let's say having a good credibility of my track record in the previous past, it's easier for me to reach out to any new individual anywhere in the country. Let's say even if he or she is in London, even if he or she is in let's say a country in US, etc. So even if he or she is in US, etc., like it'll be easier for me to reach out to them because of the credibility which I've built over the last few months or few years. So that's number one. So for me to network or reach out to anyone, I can reach out to them through LinkedIn easily. And I've been doing that in the last 2 months also, actively reaching out to new people, getting on a call with them. I agree that I cannot develop that bond with them, which I'll develop with a person in an MBA college for 2 years. But even if I'm able to, let's say, get in touch with them and try to build a connection, which, okay, I can just call them as my friends, or if I need some help, they'll be available for me. That's absolutely fine for me. So networking is not a challenge because of the social media presence which I have. Second part is that if I want to get into entrepreneurship now, I am a person who always wanted to become an entrepreneur. So after doing an MBA, I think that 2 years, I can build something in the next 2 years, which I won't be able to do it after doing an MBA. I am 23 right now. If I go for an MBA, I'll just be 26 after coming back. And taking that sort of risk or having that courage at 26 would be completely different because let's say I'll have some other financial responsibilities, other family responsibilities, or there might be some other, let's say, marriage plans also, because in Jain Marwadi families, the marriage happens at 26, 27, etc. So it'll be very difficult for me also to, let's say, like take that courage during 26, 27. So I thought that, okay, like if I go for an MBA, that's not going to help me at this point of time because I want to become an entrepreneur. That's like in my heart right now. I come from a family background of entrepreneurs, and everyone in my family they've never done a corporate job in their life. I was the first person to do a corporate job because I was the most qualified one in my family, and everyone in my family is just a BCom graduate or an MCom graduate, not more than that. So they were extremely proud when I cleared my CA, CFA, and ACCA as well. And when I got into a corporate, they were like very happy, of course. So that is number two for me. And number three is about personality development. Now I'll tell you my view here is that if I want to develop my personality, I can do it anyhow. It's not that if I just go into an MBA college, I'll develop my personality. I can, let's say, go for an event, I can organize, volunteer that event, I can be the host, I can be the main moderator, or I can just be in charge of that event, I can lead that entire event. That will improve my personality. Number two is that there are a lot of other activities which happen in the startup ecosystem or even in like the offline world, etc. I have been invited as a lot of guest speakers by a lot of colleges and institutions as well, just to, like, let's say, inspire the students, motivate the students by sharing my journeys, etc. This gives me a very good exposure to talking to, like, let's say 1,000, 1,500 students in front of everyone, and just, like, talking, interacting to them. This will improve my personality. This will help me in order to become a better human being. Thirdly, there are a lot of courses also on personality development. If I, let's say, think that I really want to improve my communication skills, I'll just join some personality development course for 15 odd days, 20 odd days, and I'll just try to ensure that I learn the best out of it. Or fourth part is that I can do it on my own as well, which is one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel. You won't even believe, Shatakshi, I am sharing this for the first time, to be honest. The first video, if you see on my YouTube channel, that's absolutely like, I mean, when I watch it right now, I laugh on myself. I'm like, Arey yaar, what am I saying? I mean, this is like one of the most dumb videos which I've ever created. I'm not even able to talk properly. I am laughing on myself. And today, 2 years later, I am like, okay, I've become much more confident. I have been able to improve my communication skills. I've been able to improve my English speaking skills. I'm not saying that communication skills are related to English speaking skills, but all I'm trying to say that I started creating videos in English because I wanted to improve my English language as well. So that was like number three reason. And fourth is that I got an opportunity to interact with like billionaires of India, industry stalwarts of India, which wouldn't have been possible if I would have never started my YouTube channel. Why would they even come to me? Why would they even say yes for me to, let's say, talk to them? What would I talk to them about, right? So basically, this entire digital space, this has become my own brand now. Now I'll tell you, like, people who are, let's say, following me, they have become a part of my journey, my life. They want to know, okay, what I am doing. I am not, let's say, restricted, or I am not limited by the fact that I was just working at Aditya Birla Group or I am a CA, etc. Now, even if I've left Aditya Birla Group, it doesn't mean that people will stop watching or consuming my content. It's because, okay, because of the value which I'm adding to them. So it's like the personal brand which you build. If you need a brand, then you should go for an MBA. If you have built your own brand through anything, then you don't need to go for an MBA because you already have a brand. So basically, it's different for everyone. My view here is that I think that, okay, I think this social media presence or digital presence has helped me in order to build some brand, and I'll just capitalize on this and scale this social media presence to such a level that it can help me in order to become something, and that will be my identity. I don't want to restrict my identity just because of a qualification or a degree. So my identity should be Kushal. Like, people should know me as Kushal Lodha and not as CA, CFA, ACCA Kushal Lodha. So that is an identity which I want to build. And that is the reason I have not added CA before my channel name as well. If you see, my channel name is only Kushal Lodha. And a lot of people, thousands of people comment on my videos, why did you not add CA before your name? Bhaiya, you are a CA. People call me Bhaiya, that's a ridiculous thing. I just hate it when people call me Bhaiya, but I mean, I can't help it. But they are like, Bhaiya, you should add CA before your name. You have like literally so many followers. You are a chartered accountant. You should feel proud. I tell to them, okay, I am a CA, but I don't want myself to be remembered as a chartered accountant. I just want myself to be called as Kushal Lodha. People should know me as Kushal, who has added some value in people's lives. I don't want myself to just restrict to that CA tag. So that's my mindset.
I have so many reactions to what you said. So first and foremost thing, I'm completely in alignment that MBA is actually a signaling degree, which you basically saying it's a brand. And if you can signal through your social media and your digital presence, then you do not need that signaling over and over again in life because it's a long tail. You could do 100 things for signaling, but that doesn't mean that you need to do 100 things. And for networking, I also want to bring out this very interesting component that very interestingly I learned in my MBA at ISB, which is the power of weak networks over strong networks. It is that basically your weak networks help you way more in your career than strong network, which is basically your power friendship. So you need just 5 or 6 friends, but that doesn't mean that you should not build a very wide network. So I really like how you're saying that platforms like LinkedIn can help you build that wide network. And as far as friendship goes, people can join a club. I'm sure, not an MBA degree, right? It is costing upwards of 1 crore. And lastly, what you said around being an entrepreneur and taking that forward, taking your learnings from CA to becoming an entrepreneur, I'm completely in alignment of that. And what really, really impresses me is what you're saying that you are not CA Kushal Lodha, you're Kushal Lodha.
Yeah.
I personally find it so ludicrous that I know that I might offend a lot of people when I say this. You're more than your degree. Don't put a degree before your name. I know that it is a signaling in the market, but you are more than your degree, right? And that is, I think, the culture that we belong to. That degree so much so that you are doctor first and you are CA first or you are CFA first. All right,
Right.
we are on the final question that I have on my mind, Kushal, for you. Because you have been working in finance and investment professionally, overall in your life as a 23-year-old, what is your best investment till date?
Wow, that's a deep question. Best investment. So, like, are you asking, like, let's say in some stock or a startup, or let's say non-monetary one, or like what?
Anything. It could be monetary, it could be an equity, it could be non-equity, it could be relationship, whatever you believe is the best investment till date.
Okay. Yeah, a very deep question. I think the best investment for me, like I really don't think like let's say even a monetary investment would be the best investment, because the returns after, even if let's say it's 100% return or a 2x, 3x, 4x return, that really does not matter as far as you're giving more. The best investment for me would be every day whenever I get up to write something or create some sort of content which will add value to the audience which I am providing some sort of content. That's like one of the best investment, and it's a very heavy investment. I spend like more than 1.5, 2 hours every single day to try to observe what's happening and what sort of content I can produce and what sort of value I can add to my audience. So this is one investment which is non-monetary. Firstly, it's like my time is going, I'm not getting anything in return. Of course, I started with a motive of not getting anything in return, but I mean, I am able to monetize it right now because of a lot of other reasons, because of like having a huge audience base. And it's like even I'm just promoting those companies which I use in my mobile phone, which I know they are like very good. So that's like a disclaimer to be given. And I know you have a differing viewpoint over here. So like it's like you don't promote anything. I happen to know that as well. So basically, I mean, this is like a side income. It's a passive income, right? So my view is that this is like one of the best investment. I invest like 1.5, 2 hours regularly daily to ensure that whatever I am just trying to write something which can help my audience, let's say, if not gain some insight, at least gain some inspiration, gain some motivation to do something. Or I try to write some of my life stories on a diary, and then I try to write it on my LinkedIn as well. So this is how the journey started on LinkedIn, to be honest. I used to write a diary and I used to write all my thoughts on a piece of paper. And I thought, if this can be publicly shareable, why not share it with the public? So of course, I don't share everything, whatever I write on a piece of paper, but whatever I can share it with the general audience, I just write it on a LinkedIn post. And most of my LinkedIn posts would be like some of my personal stories, some of the incidents or some of the learning which I've learned from all these billionaires or industry stalwarts. So 2 hours of investment every day is like one of the best investments, where I am able to learn something, I am able to absorb something, and I'm able to create some content, record some videos, or maybe write some LinkedIn post and give it back to the fraternity. So this is like one of the best investments, which has really helped me in order to gain a lot of traction. Firstly, and secondly, it really helps me. Like I mean, I feel extremely happy when someone messages or emails me that okay, I've been able to clear my exam because of your support, because of your guidance. I've got a job in a multinational company because of your interview preparation tips, or I have like got a very good package in a multinational company, or maybe I have just been able to get a good promotion in my job because of following the tips which you had given in your videos, etc. So this really feels very nice. And people, if they just recognize me in public and they come to me and they are like, they thank me for my contribution, it's like, okay, I mean, at least there's someone who's observing or recognizing my work. I'm not doing it for recognition, but it's like at the end of the day, it feels really nice if people are just approaching or valuing what you're doing. So I think this investment is like one of the best investments in my life.
Fantastic. And I'm sure that a lot of people will take inspiration from you, Kushal. So if we were to synthesize and have a key takeaway, you're largely saying that 2 hours of writing, or if not writing, creating content is having exponential returns for you. And
Right.
I really love that answer, because if I were to be candid, Kushal, I was 24 when I had an early quarter life crisis, and I started writing blogs on Medium. And that was the foundation for me to eventually professionally start writing on LinkedIn at an age of 28, 29. You're writing professionally on LinkedIn at such a young age. So I'm very sure that a lot of people will take a leaf from your book and start in their own small fashion to eventually take it big. And I completely agree with your first answer and kind of taking a full circle in this conversation. Talent doesn't matter. Talent is overrated. if you are a great writer today, but you're not generating writing periodically or in a disciplined fashion, it's not going to generate that exponential return we're talking about. All right. Kushal, frankly, this was way more interesting chat than I had imagined. You are such a good person who is self-aware, who is intellectually curious, who is definitely humble. I'm very sure a lot of success will come to you as you start your startup journey. Happy to hear any last views if you have, or last comments you have before we wrap up.
Sure, absolutely. I think this was one of the most candid conversations which I've had, and thanks a lot for having me here. I've spoken a lot of things which no one has asked me, and I'm like extremely grateful to you for asking like such unconventional questions, which really made me think about my own life as well. So thanks for that. I think what last comments would be that apart from let's say humble, apart from let's say self-aware, what I think is that I'm quite honest. Like I mean, whatever is coming to my mind, I'll be straightforward and I'll be honest and I'll just share those thoughts. Even if let's say it leads to a controversy or even if it leads to some sort of disagreement to another person, I'll just be honest and I won't just let's say agree with the other person just for the sake of agreement. So that's one trait which has really helped me in order to like gain a lot of good relationships, gain a lot of friends, and just being honest. I think that's extremely important. Even if like say like just simple example in an interview, if you don't know an answer, you just need to tell I don't know an answer. That's it. If you're bluffing, it shows a very wrong way of it shows a very wrong method if you're just lying in an answer. So that is a very bad trait of a candidate. So I think being honest, that is one. And secondly, it's like one of the most important things which has helped me in order to be disciplined is like making a lot of sacrifices as well. I'm not saying you need to sacrifice only, but it's like if you want to achieve something, there are a lot of personal sacrifices which you will need to build. So I always share this with my audience. I love this quote which I'd read somewhere on the internet. If you don't sacrifice for what you want, then what you want becomes the sacrifice. So basically, if you want to achieve something, then you need to sacrifice on something, or you'll have to sacrifice on the main thing which you want to achieve after a point of time. So that's extremely important. And lastly, so basically what I feel is that don't let others control your definition of enjoyment. So it's like whatever you're doing, like I just posted on LinkedIn a couple of days back. This post went crazy viral. It got some 1,20,000 likes and some 6.7 million impressions and 6.2 million impressions in one day. But not bragging, but just it's like I really feel that don't let others control your definition of enjoyment. So even if you let's say don't like to go out on parties, even if you don't like to do any sort of watch any sort of movies, even if you just don't like to let's say talk to new people, it's fine. As far as you're enjoying your life, if you like to spend time with your family, if you like to let's say just spend time with yourself, if you like to do anything which you're loving and you're enjoying your life, that's absolutely fine. Just don't let others control your definition of enjoyment. You should have a clear definition of enjoyment in your life. As far as you're loving whatever you're doing, as far as you're getting internal satisfaction, as far as you're getting internal peace by the thing which you're doing, you will enjoy your life. So trust me, whenever like you think that someone is just telling you that okay, you aren't enjoying your life, you're disciplined, you're very boring, etc., tell them that hard work is boring, discipline is boring, studying is boring, but boring things make you successful in life. And that's what have always motivated me in order to just become like a better human being each and every day.
What lovely words, Kushal, to end this podcast. I have, like I mentioned, very excited to have had this chat, and I'm smiling ear to ear because of all the honest renditions and answers you have mentioned, and it's clearly showcased, and I'm completely in alignment. Dishonesty can lead to short-term wins, but over a period of time, things do catch up. So, all right. With that, we are wrapping up this podcast formally.
I hope you liked this video and got a chance to learn about all things MBA, all things consulting, and all things skill. And I've always maintained if you need more help to get into management consulting, product management, and public policy, feel free to check out my education venture, globalgovernance-initiative.org. With that, if you like this video, feel free to click on the like button and share it with your friends so that they get to know about all the interesting content that I'm bringing out through the Shatakshi show for all of you. Ciao, ciao.